Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating concepts in human psychology, how our own minds literally dictate our reality, especially when the stakes are at their absolute highest. Have you ever wondered why two people can face the exact same high-pressure scenario and one person just completely crumbles while the other thrives? Well, today we're exploring the golden key that transforms a paralyzing threat into a powerful opportunity. It's a subtle shift, but I promise you, once you master it, it changes everything about how you work, how you live, and how you grow. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at two views of one situation, uncover the secret of choosing your relation, dig into the scientific roots of our reactions, compare threat and opportunity mindsets, walk through 3 steps to change your perspective, and wrap up with a solid conclusion and skills path. Let's get right into it. All right, Section 1. Two views of one situation. To really grasp this, I want you to picture two candidates walking into the exact same high-pressure job interview. It's the same intimidating boardroom, same interviewers, same impossibly hard questions. But their experiences couldn't be more different. Candidate 1, before they even walk through the door, their heart rate is spiking, palms are sweating, and their mind is just racing with this one paralyzing thought: what if I fail? The second a tough question comes up, their brain just freezes, pure panic. But then you have candidate 2. They take a deep breath, they actually feel expansive and energized. They're literally telling themselves, this is my chance to show what I've got. And they view those exact same hard questions as a really fun challenge. Same room, totally different physical and mental reactions. Why? That brings us to Section 2, the secret of choosing your relation. The whole difference boils down to this concept called your relation, or basically your attitude. It's the active stance you decide to take towards anything: a person, an event, a crisis, whatever. Here's the raw reality of life. You can't always control the events that happen to you. You can't control the market or if your interviewer had a terrible morning, right? But, and this is a massive but, you do have absolute undisputed power over how you actively relate to those events. Your relation is your active link to reality, and that single choice dictates whether an event becomes a threat that breaks you or an opportunity that elevates you. Think about this for a second. No single phenomenon in the world is actually a threat by its very nature. It's really just an event. It only becomes a threat based on the relation you form with it. But why exactly is that? Let's look under the hood. Section 3. Scientific roots of our reactions. First up, we've got the cognitive appraisal theory from Richard Lazarus and Susan Folkman. These two are absolute giants in stress research. They essentially proved that stress doesn't actually live in the event itself. Nope, it lives in our appraisal of it. It's this rapid-fire, subconscious calculation our brain makes in milliseconds. First, there's the primary appraisal, where your brain asks, hey, is this important? Does this threaten or benefit me? And then instantly it jumps to the secondary appraisal. Do I actually have the resources and ability to cope with this? So this basically creates a literal equation for how you experience life. Your relation equals that primary appraisal plus that secondary appraisal. If your brain screams, this is a threat, and immediately follows up with, I can't handle this, boom, you're hit with destructive stress. But if you view the situation as a challenge, and your brain says, okay, I have the resources, I can totally do this, suddenly you spark intense motivation and growth. You literally change your reality just by flipping that internal math. And this isn't just in your head. Jim Blaskovich's challenge versus threat theory proves this is actually happening in your blood. When you face pressure, your brain acts like a microscopic traffic cop for your cardiovascular system. If you take a threat relation, feeling like the demands exceed what you can handle, your blood vessels literally constrict, your cortisol spikes, your cognitive flexibility drops, and you freeze up. But if you take a challenge relation, your blood vessels actually dilate. You get an amazing rush of positive adrenaline and increased blood flow right to your brain. You achieve peak performance. So you got to ask yourself right now, is your brain telling your body to freeze up, or is it gearing you up to fight brilliantly? Next up is Julian Rotter's famous concept, the locus of control. This is all about who you think is holding the steering wheel of your life. People with an internal locus believe, I control my life's outcomes. They're active, they take responsibility, and they see hard times as a chance to grow because they know they have agency. On the flip side, an external locus means you believe luck or external forces or other people are pulling the strings. You feel like a passive victim. When a massive challenge hits someone with an external locus, they immediately take a threat relation because they just feel completely helpless. Finally, there's James Gross's work on emotional regulation, specifically cognitive reappraisal. He proved you can actively change your emotional response simply by changing how you interpret an event. Imagine a professor completely tears apart your essay. A threat interpretation says, "Oh man, I'm a failure, they hate me." But if you use cognitive reappraisal, you flip it into an opportunity. Wow, okay, here is the exact roadmap for how I can get better at this. It's the exact same criticism, but by actively changing the interpretation, you completely change how you emotionally process it. Moving on to Section 4, Comparison of Threat and Opportunity. Now that we know the science, let's look at the domino effect of these two mindsets side by side. It all starts with your interpretation. If you see a situation as dangerous, taking that threat relation, your core belief becomes, "I can't." Your sense of control shifts externally. Physiologically, your body tenses up. Your behavior turns into avoidance. You run away or hide. And the end result? A serious decline in your performance. But listen to the alternative. If you interpret that exact same situation as challenging, taking the opportunity relation, your belief shifts to, "I can learn." Your control is internal. You're flooded with usable energy. You confront the issue head on. And the result is massive growth. It's a completely different trajectory for your life, all stemming from that one initial choice of relation. All right, Section 5, 3 steps to change perspective. So, how do we actually rewire our brains to do this? I want you to try these 3 steps today. Step 1, identify your current relation. Next time you face a hurdle, just hit pause and ask yourself, am I seeing a threat or an opportunity here? Step 2, rewrite old relations. Look back at a past threat you faced and actively assign it a new, empowering meaning. Write it down if you have to. Step 3, practice reappraisal. Take 3 minor negative things that happened today, like a delayed train or an ignored email, and force yourself to find 3 opportunity-based interpretations for each one. This is exactly how you stop being a passive victim of circumstance and become the active architect of your own mindset. And that brings us to our final part, Section 6, Conclusion and the Skills Path. Let's bring this all together. Here is the big takeaway. There is absolutely no ceiling to human growth, because your concepts literally build your world. True career empowerment and personal growth kick in the exact moment you change your vocabulary. You have to stop saying, "This situation is bad," or "I'm a victim of these circumstances." Instead, start saying, "I actively choose my relation to this situation. I can redefine this threat. I can find the opportunity." Honestly, this mindset shift is the absolutely crucial first step before we can even begin to build any practical operational skills in the future. I'm going to leave you with this one final, really powerful thought to chew on. Our concepts determine our relation, and our relation determines whether every situation becomes a stepping stone or a falling wall. So, the next time you walk into that high-stakes interview or face a massive project, which path are you going to choose? A falling wall or a stepping stone? Remember, that choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I challenge you to go out there and start rewriting your reality today.